Hello and welcome to Sports Vehicle Performance. Today we are back with our Porsche Cayman project. We're going to be carrying out a list of maintenance things that we went through in the last video, so let's go and have a look. Well, starting off, we're going to be doing a major service. This includes an oil filter and fresh oil. We're going to be using micro ceramic oil cleaner, and this should hopefully help prolong the life of the engine. We're also going to be doing spark plugs. We've got new wiper blades as well. We've got pollen filter, a new high performance air filter, and also an aux belt. So a lot to get on with. So we're going to start off by filling the engine with our Wagner motor cleaner. So to do this, I remove the cover, which then allows me to remove the oil film. Once this is done, I then go ahead and fill the engine with our Wagner motor cleaner. Don't forget to refit the cap as well, and now it means we can go ahead and start up the engine and run it for 15 to 20 minutes. Well, with the car started up, we've now got to wait 15 to 20 minutes, but in the meantime, I'm going to be doing the pollen filter. Well, starting off with, we remove the screen wash cover. Then here we can access the cabin filter retainer, which is held in with 4 T30 bolts. We fully remove the bottom 2, but only slightly remove the top 2, as it should allow us to slide it in and out of place easily. And with that removed, it now means we can access the cabin filter. There is a plastic retaining clip on the left hand side. We just pull that down and it should allow us to remove it. Now we can install the new one. Again, making sure to take care of the foam and make sure we're not going to damage the cabin filter itself. And once in place, slotted in nicely, we can then clip down the retaining clip. This done, we can now slide back into place the retaining mount and go ahead and install the 4 T30 bolts. Make sure they're all up tight, nice and snug. Well, with that all in place, it now means we can go ahead and refit the screen wash cover panel. Along with this, the battery cover. So now that is our cabin filter done. Well, now the cabin filter is done, so we're going to move on to the wiper blades. We've still got a few minutes left of the engine running before we can drain the oil, so I'll get on with that. Well, when doing the wipers, I always make sure to use a microfiber cloth. So I did one at a time, and I used the microfiber cloth to protect the glass, as when you disconnect a blade from the wiper itself, as these are springed, they can always come down and shatter the glass, which is definitely one thing you don't want to do. So I take my time, do one at a time as well, and make sure that they're working properly. Definitely say they look a lot better, and I also go ahead and check the operation with the wipers and the screen wash going. Well, we've just finished the wiper blades and it's perfect timing. The engine's been running for just over 20 minutes now, so that means we can now move on to the next step, which is draining the oil. Well, starting off, I undo the sump plug. This was a bit stuck, but I managed to get it off in the end, and with that, I drain the oil. Well, with the oil draining from the sump, I undo the oil filter. This again was slightly tight, but it's to be expected. Undo this and get it draining. Well, with that now out, I can go ahead and remove the seal ring. That's in here with a little pick. I then go ahead and install the new one, make sure I've ordered up nice and ready to go on the car. I can also install the filter into the housing. Ready to go on the vehicle. Well, get it in, slowly screw it in, make sure that the filter is clipped into the top of the block or housing, and do it up, make sure it's do it up tight, and also tuck it up to spec. Well, with that all done, last but not least is to install the new sump plug with a brand new washer, and now with that all tight and torqued up to spec, ready to put some oil in the car. So I just got the car down now, and now it means we can go ahead and fill it up with oil. But we are using our Wagner microceramic oil. Now it's a very simple calculation and ratio. It's just 10% of the complete volume of the oil. So as this car takes about, I think 7.5 litres of oil, just means simple calculation is 750 ml of Wagner microceramic. So what I'll do is give us a good shake, and always remember to follow the instructions, add it to the engine, and then I'll fill the rest up with oil. So let's get on with that. Well, to start off with, as explained, I go ahead and fill 750 ml of the microceramic oil to the engine. Once I finish this, I fill up the remainder of the engine oil level with standard oil. So that's all done. The oil's in along with the microceramic, the calculation's all done. But what I've done is I've flipped the key a few times to get the oil running around, and also got the reading started on the dash. Now this is going to take about 30 minutes to do, which is probably one of the longest things, especially without having a dipstick on these cars, which is always really frustrating. But we're going to wait 30 minutes and hopefully the oil level should be bang on. Well, in the meantime, while I wait for the timer to finish on the oil level, I'm going to go ahead and try and change the air filter. So what I've had to do at the minute so far is remove the sound deadening on top and the carpet. And I've now got to take off this little top panel, and the air filter should be down in the corner. So get this panel off and hopefully get enough access to the new air filter, which is just over here. Looking very nice. So hopefully we can get this on before the oil level's done as well. So big bonus if we can do that, so get on with that. So first things first, I need to remove the engine cover. Now this is held in with 5 T30 Torx, which is very simple to remove. And once this is done, I can then access the air filter, remove the 2 screws on the side and the 1 screw in the middle to then give me access to remove the air filter. Well, I've just got the old air filter out, and looking at the state of this, it's definitely a good thing we did. Definitely seen some miles this one, I would say, but luckily replacing it with a brand new one should hopefully give us some nice noise as well, which is always a benefit, and definitely be a cheaper and more lasting air filter. So shove this on. It didn't come with the bracket, so I'll take this off the old one, but quickly throw this on, get the new one in. Did also check the power steering while the top cover's off. Always a good thing to do on these cars. The access isn't the best. You can also check the coolant as well and stuff like that. So yeah, that's all checked up, all good. Now what I'm going to do is put the air filter on. So I'll get the clip on, stuff like that, and get it back on, and hopefully by the time I've got this on, the oil level will be done. So yeah, we'll have a look at this and get this done. So the air filter's done now, along with the other bits we did, such as power steering and stuff like that. All the covers back on, sound deadening, all that is back together. Oil level's also done. The timer literally finished just in time. Had like 5 seconds as soon as I finished. That's perfect. And yet the oil level was bang on. So next up we've got the AUX about to do. So this includes, we're going to move these seats forwards, and then just behind there there's a cover. Don't know if you can see, just behind that. Basically just like before, just like the top. There's a little cover, remove that, and then we've got plenty of access. So yeah, that's the next job. Well, of course, I'll start off by moving the seat forwards, and as you can see, we can now access the panel. So I'll start by removing the 8 10mm bolts and nuts located around this panel. Once these are off, it allows me to remove the panel completely. Now we can see the bout, and now this gives us access to the tensioner, which is located here. So I get the bout off, and of course refit the new one, making sure it's in the right order as well. Lastly, I go ahead and check the tension on the bout. This is vital to make sure the bout doesn't come off or snap while driving. Well, with that done, I can now refit the panel. Go ahead and refit the 10mm nuts and bolts. And there we go, the panel is back on the vehicle, which now means that all I've got to do is refit the carpet. And now the bout is done. So just finished off doing the aux bouts, all tensioned up nicely. Next job is to send it up in the air, get these rear wheels off and get on with the spark plugs. So to start off with, I removed both the rear wheels. This gives me plenty of access to the engine. Well, with the wheels out of the way, I can go ahead and remove this little panel here. This will give me the access to the coil packs. So the next step is obviously to remove these and get these out of the way. Always make sure to take care when removing the plug, as it's very easy to snap and break. So of course, next up, now we've got access to spark plugs, is to remove these as well. Now we have our spark plugs out of the car. So we've just finished removing the spark plugs from the engine. So the next step we're going to be doing is a bore scope inspection. These have quite a common issue of getting bore score, so it's always a good thing to check it, especially while we're here. So we've got our bore scope here, so we'll get checking these now. Well, with the bore scope inspection, it's always good to check every single cylinder. So I start off by checking the right hand side on this car, and there's not a lot to see, but all the bores did look alright, which is always a good sign. Now it's actually the other side that we've got to be careful about, so we'll get to that next. Well, with the inspection done, it now means I can go ahead and install the new spark plugs, and also remembering to reinstall the coil packs. With this done, it now means I can do the same on the other side and get to the bore scope inspection. Well, we've just got the spark plugs out the engine this side, so we're going to be doing the exact same as what we did on the other side of the car, which is the bore scope. This side is more important as this has cylinder number 6, and this is the most common one to get bore score, so it's very important to check, so we're going to get on with that now. Well, we get on with checking the bores, and cylinder number 6 is perfect, which is just the news that we wanted. So once this is done, we refit the spark plugs, installing new ones, and go ahead and refit the wheels. So we just got the rear wheels on, finished off doing the spark plugs, car's all running well, no misfires or anything, it's always good. But next up, we've got a passenger window regulator to get on with. So let's drop it down and get on with that. So before we get on with the window regulator, I thought we'd show you the interior. So as you can see, it's actually in really good condition. There's no real sun damage or even any mold at all in this interior, which is real good positive. The only downside we have really found at the minute is only small. It's these little switches, just the coating on them goes a bit horrible and it goes all sticky after a bit of time. But yeah, really good positive of the interior. Got a few plans for this, but other than that, the only fault is the window regulator. So we're gonna get on with that. So with the window regulator now working, we're going to move on to checking the engine history for any over-revs using our PIWIS scanner. We're in the car now with the PIWIS scanner and we're checking the over-revs of the engine. So a bit complicated, but I'll try and simple it down for you. So pretty much there's 6 ranges and all of these show different types of rev ranges. So it could be 7 to 7,500 RPM and stuff like that. So the first 2, these are pretty normal. These just hit it, just the engine hitting the limiter. So, you know, there's quite a lot, and as we know the history of the car, it's done quite a few track days, so this is relatively normal. As we get into ranges 3 and 4, there's nothing in 4, 5 and 6, which is good. That's all basically critical engine damage, which basically means your engine's written off and that's it. But 3, this one isn't too much of a concern, as it's probably only a little bit, as this number can very easily go up quickly, especially when it's at such high revs and the engine's rotating very quickly. Basically, rev range 3 is just a slight little blip, slight little over rev, but it's nothing to be concerned about. So the engine's looking all good. So yeah, definitely a positive. We're answering some of your questions that you left in the last video. One of these is to do with the wheels. Now, you may have seen that we removed the old 19-inch wheels and moved on to 18s. Now, this is exactly why we've got these ones on. These are some that we had around, and also brand new tyres as well, which is a massive bonus. But these massively improve the handling of the car, especially that we're going to be doing some sort of track days in this, hopefully. And you know, we definitely want something to improve the handling, and this is just an easy thing to do and really helps change the look of the car. So moving on to this horrible bonnet, we are going to be changing the colour of this, but along with the bonnet, the rest of the car. So we've got a funky colour in planned, as we really think this looks not very nice together. So we've got a funky colour. So make sure to stay tuned for that and follow along with the rest of the project. So with all the servicing done, we can now hopefully move on to a bit of the modifying side of the car, but that's going to be definitely for a future video. But hopefully you guys have enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys in the next one. But don't forget to like, subscribe and comment, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.